up, everyone? It's your girl Shay here with my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm talking about Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is the new anime movie that came out in theaters this past weekend. And while I myself have not seen the movie, nor have I actually seen the anime, I've heard great things about it. And I want to talk about a little bit about these box office numbers, because to me, so many of us know that most anime movies don't particularly do very well at the box office. Many of us as fans go out and see it, but it never really makes like huge box office numbers because it really is for just a niche or select group of people. Us, obviously. But over the past recent years, we've actually seen this kind of shift, and we've been seeing where a lot more anime fans are going to the theaters to see their favorite movies, as well as seeing them actually rank pretty high on the box office, at least domestically for the US tier list, or on the list, ranking pretty high up there. Movies such as obviously the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, that obviously did really well back a few years ago, and then most recently you have like the My Hero Academia movies as well, and last year we had the Demon Slayer movie Mugen Train that made 21.2 million USD dollars, and people were completely shocked that movie made so much money in the box office, especially because it was one of the first few movies that released once theaters actually really reopened after the whole pandemic that's been still currently going on. Now this weekend, like I mentioned, Jujutsu Kaisen came out in theaters, and it's Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is apparently a prequel to Jujutsu Kaisen. Now I apologize if that is incorrect, but that was what I had read online, so I believe that is correct. But if I am incorrect, just go ahead and basically correct me down below in the comments. But like I said, I have not seen this movie. So according to analysts though, which is from an article I got from comicbook.com, where they did talk about these box office numbers, they talk about the fact that analysts actually did predict that this movie was actually going to do fairly well in the box office. And they said it's because of the previews and because it turned over a lot of ticket sales. I guess I'm assuming like pre-order tickets, like you buy the ticket before the movie actually comes out, just so that you can make sure that you actually have a ticket and it doesn't sell out. So they apparently had kind of thought that this movie was going to do fairly well and actually predicted it to make about $19 million in its first weekend. Well, Jujutsu Kaisen actually went on to make about $17.6 million in its first weekend, and this was it showing across 2,336 screens, which if you think about it, movies like The Batman, which actually came in at number 1, that is showing on probably double the amount of screens. So that one's showing on, I believe last I checked, a little over 4,000 screens across the United States. So that actually did so well for it to be showing on much fewer screens compared to The Batman. So I basically want to talk about this because I feel like this is something that's going to continue to happen. Like I mentioned, so many of us before remember a lot of anime movies not actually doing fairly well or not that great in the box office, unless you account for Pokemon, which of course is a global phenomenon, and so many people loved that show, and so many people of course are going to go to the movies and see it. So besides that movie in and of itself, I had never heard of any other anime movie doing that well in theaters. There were people that would come out and go see it because obviously if you're a fan of the show, you're going to want to see the movie. But because it wasn't made by a huge big studio, or wasn't that big of a phenomenon like Pokemon was, it wasn't going to do that great, but it was going to do okay. Not going to do abysmal, but it was going to get the target audience that movie was basically meant to see. So that's why a lot of us were surprised when movies like Dragon Ball Z Broly did so well, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and now Jujutsu Kaisen, that this kind of shows the fact that anime is definitely becoming more and more mainstream, and you do have a lot more people that, while they're probably not huge fanatics of anime, they have a huge respect for it, and they think the medium is amazing, and they actually think the stories are super great as well and captivating and interesting to make them want to go and see the movie in theaters. So I'm actually really excited about all of this. I think this is wonderful. I think this is great. That's why I want to take my time out and actually talk about it, because I feel like at this point in time, anime is definitely not as underrated and not as underground as it used to be. And I know many of us can account for that, considering all the huge like streaming services that are starting to also dabble into anime, like Netflix, for example. And I know that so many of us, you know, now see this shift compared to like years ago when anime was still fairly unheard of. A lot of people really had their own like stereotypes of how they felt about it or what they thought anime was. And now since anime has become a lot more mainstream, a lot of people nowadays are kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's just a lot different from regular Western animated shows, but it still has the adult feel that many of us thought anime didn't have, and the stories are a lot more complex and captivating and interesting compared to anything that a lot of us have seen on screen. Many of us are no longer really being, at least not that much, bullied for liking anime like how many of us were as kids, because so many people do like it now. So yeah, I just felt the need to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen and how well it is doing in theaters. Like I mentioned, I have not seen it, but I want to talk about it because this is just such a great thing. And to me, I always love to see anime fans go out and show the love that they have for a particular piece of content, for a particular piece of like IP properties and stuff like that, and basically showing the creators and showing the studios that we love this series, we want to continue on, and we basically want them to make more movies, because many of us know money is what talks. And so if a studio sees that a movie or a show or whatever is not doing well, then of course they're not going to continue on with it because it's just not profitable. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if there would be another Jujutsu Kaisen movie that comes out later on and in the future. And I already know that if they decide to do that, it is also going to make a lot of money and make a lot of fans happy. So what do you guys think about this? Are you guys happy that Jujutsu Kaisen has done so well in theaters? Do you think it will do well in theaters for the second weekend as well? And that's another thing too. So many of us have been so used to like a lot of movies coming out, or at least anime movies coming out, and it's like this like one weekend extravaganza. It's only going to be out for one weekend or just for a couple of days. But now you have like movies, like anime movies coming out that are staying in theaters for a lot longer, compared to it being like this like fandom event that's only going on for a couple of days. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that as well. Sorry, that thought literally just crossed my mind, which is why I had to blurt it out a little bit at the end, but I just wanted to talk about that fairly quickly. But anyway, comment below your thoughts. I would love to read them, as well as comment below any suggestions you guys have for future videos. Of course, links below is going to be to all my social media accounts. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and also I have a TikTok, so feel free to check me out on there. Yes, a lot of my TikTok content is basically kind of gravitating towards more like BTS content, but if you're into BTS or K-pop, feel free to follow me on there as well. And of course, yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Like I always tell you guys, stay positive, stay nerdy, and in today's day and age, stay healthy, and of course, please stay safe. All right, you guys, bye.